everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to
Bradshaw Personal Fitness. This is our gym. I'm Eugenia Bradshaw, Coach Bradshaw, and this is Claudia Scherer.
of Confidence with Claudia, and we are two moms on a mission.
Yes, on a mission.
And what are we doing here today in your gym? What are you going to show me?
Today we're going to go over 5 common exercises that are in most exercise programs that are often done incorrectly. So if you don't start at the appropriate level, that's when injury can happen.
Or too hard too soon.
Yes, injury can happen if you keep doing it like that and keep loading it, or you're just not going to get the most out of it. So today I picked about 5 different exercises, and the first one we're going to start with is called a split squat. I'm going to coach Claudia here in a split squat.
I can do it.
Okay, Claudia, why don't you give me what you call a split squat?
Okay. So split apart, foot forward, and maybe come on down this way.
Okay, so this is a great example of someone who can't do a split squat, but she actually can. She's just playing the part. So if I were to get Claudia in the gym, she was my client, and we were working a split squat, which is a regression of a single leg exercise. So eventually I would like to progress this to a single leg squat. So I would have her start on the floor in a split squat, a split stance position. You're going to make sure her heel is down. This back leg here, you want your knee directly underneath your hip and want your toe dug in. Now, if someone cannot perform the exercise even body weight, I would have them start with their, I would like to start with their hands behind their head in this position and have them come up and just hold it. Now, we're pressing, bring it down a little bit lower. So we're going to go just off the floor. Bring this knee a little bit, the knee forward, that bottom knee. So you want to make sure that that knee is pretty much directly underneath the hip, because if not, what's going to happen, we're going to get an arch in the back. So we don't want to come up using the extension. We want to drive through this front foot. Now, keep that rib cage down. We want to be nice and tight in the core from here to here. So you're going to hold that down. And this is my first progression. What I would do is have her start from the bottom up, because that's the most difficult position to hold, but I would have you down start and hold that for like 15 or 20 seconds. So you're going to drive that back toe in, activate that glute, you're going to drive and push. You have a slight angle. It's almost like
the toes, not the heel?
Well, you're going to push the foot down and forward. You're going to drive through
the whole foot.
Yeah, drive through the whole foot. It's almost if you were going to sprint out. So if I were going to sprint from a sprint start, you'd be in this position. So you have a slight body angle and a slight angle of that front shin.
Okay.
So if I were going to take off in a sprint, that would be the position. Okay? So you're going to hold this. Now, if you're comfortable, you can put your hands behind your head. Now, if someone's not comfortable like this, they can put their hands to the side or in the front. So what you're going to do, is you're going to come up off the floor just a couple of inches. You're going to hold that, bring that knee forward, because we want the knee, bring your toe forward. I'm going to start you back again. So keep this knee directly into the hip. Press to the ground, and you're going to hold it about 5 inches, come a little bit lower, right there. We want this parallel, and you're going to hold that. I'm going to have you hold it for about 15 seconds. You can release it now. We're not going to hold the whole thing. All right, so now the next thing that I would do is have you start in this position. You would do the actual split squat. So you start in the same position, drive to the ground, and you're going to come up and down. Up and again. So bring this shin a little bit, bring this forward a little bit, right? And drive through that foot and up, 2, good. We'll just do 5, 3, 4, and one more, and 5. Good. So now that she is, you can bring it down. So now that I know her form is good and she can hold and she can do her old body weight, what we're going to do is we're going to load it. And we're going to load it in what's called a goblet position. So she's going to take this, I'm going to use a kettlebell. You're going to hold it by the handles, like you're going to break it in half, and hold it, keep it in contact with the last 5. 1, come up a little bit higher, nice and slow. 2, good. 3, 4, one more, and 5. Bring it down. Good. She's comfortable with that. Then we would move on. Not the same day. So say this was her first time doing it. I would do it for 3 sets, 2 sets of 5, progress 3 sets of 8 for a week, and then next week we could bring it up, bring up the weight. So once you're real comfortable with that, and we've loaded as much as you can, say you get up to 45, 50 pounds holding the goblet squat. And the reason why we want to load as much as we can in the goblet, because this is going to keep her core. This is going to give you core stability right from here to here.
Okay.
And we want to work that. In that upright position, you're going to be holding
So
that.
it's not really just about doing the legs either then?
No, you know, everything's connected. So from there, the next progression we would use would be a suitcase hold. So I'm going to grab 2 kettlebells. You're going to go back in that split squat position, down, starting from the ground. Now, when the weights start to get heavier, what I would do is I would start you in the upright position, knowing that you're comfortable and you can get off the ground.
Okay.
But sometimes when the weights get heavier for people, it's harder to navigate them from the ground up. So I'm going to hand her these 2 right here. And they're 15 pounds, which she can handle. Same thing, so this is called a suitcase hold. Drive through that front foot, come up, and slowly, good. 2, and she'll do 5 of those. 3, good. 4, and 5, bring it down, release the weights, and then I would have her switch sides. To recap, what you would start with is getting you in that position, bringing you up to that isometric hold for about 15 to 20 seconds. When you're comfortable with that, we'd progress to body weight. So she'd place her hands behind her head. We'd start from the bottom, and she would do, when she can do 3 sets of 8, then we would load it with a goblet position. So she could hold the kettlebell, or she can hold a weight in the front position, a goblet position. When that weight gets too heavy, then we progress to the suit box. Well, actually, can regress it a little bit more than just from a box. If a person can't just do a basic squat, so if you want to just turn sideways,
this way?
Yep, and just do a basic squat. So her knees are, her thighs are 90 degrees, chest up a little bit higher, and drive through the ground and come up. Now, what I'm looking for, if the knees are collapsing, do a bad squat, like knees collapse in and your chest comes down and come up. Now, people can't do squats for a number of reasons. Haven't done them. Poor stability, poor mobility, poor strength, whatever the reason. Just their movement patterns aren't right. So if someone I get is really new to exercise and their squat pattern is really bad, I'm not going to have them do that and encourage poor movement patterns.
Yeah.
I would regress it. And one way I would do that is you can do an assisted squat. So a squat is an exercise that a lot of people do incorrectly. And like I said, if you do it incorrectly, you can injure yourself, you're not going to progress, you're not going to get stronger. So why do it incorrectly when you can train your body to do it correctly? All right, so just give me a lousy squat. Just knees caves in, her chest goes down, just not a good body position. Actually, it's good flexibility of the hips right there. Okay, so if someone has a really poor squat pattern, what I might do with them is I would do an assisted squat. All right, so we're going to use, this is called a TRX.
Love it.
Okay, you want to make sure that this is
Nice and tight.
nice and about just wide a shoulder width apart. So now this is going to assist her in keeping her upright body position. So you're going to squat down and drive your feet to the ground, press the knees up. Good, look straight ahead. Good. Relax your neck, good. Come forward. So now she has this to help assist her with her body position and not fold. Drive through the ground and good. Okay, so that's great. Elevate someone's heel, it automatically cleans up their squat. All right? Okay. So why don't you come over here, better apart, just shoulder width. You want to concentrate pushing the knees out, chest up, and squat down. You're going to tap that and come back up. Push those knees out. Good. Just give me 5, 2, good, slow. 3, slow it down, sit back, press the knees out. 4 and 5. Okay, now we know we've progressed from there. We've done that for a week. Her form is good. She's got no pain or anything. Now I'm going to give her a med ball. So you're going to press that out.
That way?
Yes, and you're going to, it's like counterbalance. So as you squat, so she's pressing the ball out as she squats and come back up. Perfect. So this acts as a counterbalance. Now, the next thing I'm going to go to is, again, a goblet position with the squat. Yep. You're going to grab it the same way. That's called a goblet. You're going to bring it up here. Hold that. You want to grab it like you're going to break it. And you're going to sit down to the box. Good. And come back up. Drive your feet through the ground. Good. Look straight ahead. 2, rib cage down. Nice and tight from here to here. 4. And then 5. Excellent. Well, that's the thing. We need to work balance. So when we work in the more, that's maybe more quad dominant. We're gonna work an exercise that's more hamstring, glute dominant. So whatever we do for the front, we have to do for the back.
Right.
Okay?
A little bit of balance.
So now I'm gonna grab 2 weights and we're gonna hold 2 weights up front. It's like a front squat.
Okay.
Release it a little bit. Okay, now you're gonna go into the squat.
Sorry.
Press those knees out, good. And give me 5. 2, press the knees out. 3, good. Drive through the ground. 4, 1 more. And 5, excellent. So now we progressed her from just a body weight squat, right? Or an assisted squat using the TRX.
Right, that was fun.
And then we went to the body weight squat with using the box, just so that's just a visual or an external cue so she knows where to go to, where to squat to.
Right.
So you know that you're squatting.
That's a good place to start sometimes for people
Right.
too, like where, because
Exactly.
you go too far.
Some people will be nervous.
Yeah.
And then the next one we did was the goblet, holding the kettlebell in the front. And then we went to the racked position, holding the 2 dumbbells.
Notice that.
And I mean, if
I'm
we're
gonna be used to it because I'm gonna keep using it.
Yeah.
I like that one.
So, I mean, people progress to a front squat with the bar. I don't do back squats because risk reward. I think there's plenty of exercise you can do without loading the spine. So, I mean, all of these just fit the bill. Okay? Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Next movement pattern we're going to do is a deadlift. There's so many variations of deadlifts. You can use kettlebells, you can use dumbbells, you can use sandbags. Today we're going to start with a correct movement pattern. Now, how I would start with a person doing a kettlebell or a deadlift is to see if they could actually touch their toes. So let me see you touch the toes. So go to the side.
Okay.
And she's got good mobility. So come back up. So I would have run her through like a little assessment and making sure that she has the correct movement patterns. So the next pattern from there is called a hip hinge. So what I'm going to have her do is take this, a dowel, it's plastic, you can use anything that you have laying around, a broomstick if you have. She's going to bring it behind her, put your feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to bring the dowel, your head's going to touch, your upper back, and then your lower back. And what you're going to do is you're going to push the hinge back, and then hinge forward. Okay. So if someone can't perform this, you're using your hip as your shins are going to stay. Yeah, your knees are soft. So I'm going to hinge back. Okay. Oh, did I almost hit you? This is what happens when you don't get out of the house. Okay. So you're going to hinge back, right? And this is more glute, hamstring. Okay. And when you're doing that, you'll notice, as opposed to a squat, your shins stay more vertical. Up and down. Okay.
I haven't done this one, so this is going to be
Well, you've done deadlifts. Oh, this is just the movement pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this, let it hit your head, so you don't hurt your back. It's got an upper back. There we go. Because what happens is, then if people are doing deadlifts like that, they know they're going to low back. Okay, so when you're going back, Claudia, make sure that you're pushing through your hips, you're driving your feet through the ground to come up. There you go. So it's almost like if
you can see that. I love that.
So it's almost like if you were going to jump up through the up.
Okay.
So you drive through the ground to come up. Good. Yep. Nice and slow. 4, 1 more. And 5. Okay, so she's got the ability to do a hip hinge. So then I would progress her over that, walk forward. So move your feet a little bit wider apart. Good. So you're going to stand nice and tall. All right, so when she goes down to reach that, we don't want any rounding. We want a nice flat back, hands to the side, hands on the thighs. You're going to slide them down, hip hinge back. You're going to grab that like you're going to break it in half, and you're going to drive through the ground to pick it up.
You're going to grab it like you're breaking it in half.
Good. So that flattens out. So you bent a little bit more. Come back up. So head in line. Head in line. So nice straight line from your ear to your hip. So I'm going to keep this here like there's an orange underneath your chin. You're going to grab that. So that makes your shoulder blades go flat to your back.
Definitely felt different.
Good. Now drive your feet through the ground and come up. You want to keep that weight very close to your body. Okay, press your hips back. Keep it close to your body. Good. Bring it down. Good. Drive through the ground. Come back up. Good. Nice and tall. You want to be nice and tall. Again. Good. Drive through the ground. 3. Do 2 more. How's that feel? 4. Drive through the ground. Hold that. I'm going to take that away. Okay, now you can do it again. And up. 1. Good. drive to the ground, 2, press those knees out, 3, 2 more, 4, 1 more, and good. You're going to put it down just like you pick it up, hips back, and release it, and then come back. The problem is the last rep, some people will round out as they go, and that's when people get hurt. So make sure when someone's putting the weight down, they're not rounding out and you're still in form. We've talked about a squat. That's called a bilateral knee dominant exercise. We've done a split squat, which is a single leg knee dominant exercise. We've done a kettlebell deadlift, which is a hip hinge, more for glutes and hamstrings. And now we're going to move to the upper body. We're going to start with a push-up. Now, if Claudia, and I happen to know she's quite strong, yeah, especially upper body, can do a push-up. But I'm going to pretend that she can. Imagine you get someone, or you can't do a push-up. So what do? You force yourself to go on the floor and do push-ups incorrectly, and then you hurt your shoulders, you hurt your back. So what I'm going to do is show you a regression. So we're going to use an elevated push-up. We're going to use a bar. So once you go, put your hands shoulder width apart, and have your body, move your feet back. So you're going to be in a plank position. Good. So put your feet a little bit wider. Make sure the bar is solid. All right, and you're going to lower your chest to the bar. Keep your elbows about 45 degrees and press away. Good. So it's essentially a moving plank. Nice strong core. If I were to draw a line from her elbows across her head, she'd be in the shape of an arrowhead, and that's one of the cues that I use. Okay, that's good. I'm going to take you, so we've done that, and what you can do, say if I started up high, we can go lower and lower. If you don't have a bar, I have like a step. You can lower the risers and have them do the push-ups.
Start with a table, maybe a
yes, I have. I've used
even their countertops.
Exactly. I've used countertops with my clients and gone down to the table, and we have
the start someplace.
Yes, and we gradually lower it. So now we've done that. You can do that. So now we're going to take you down to the floor because I know that you can do a push-up. I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to take a pad. What I can start with is a straight arm hold. She can press her legs out like in a plank position, and she can hold that. You want to make sure this is up. Good. Press away from the floor. You want to feel like when you're pressing your hands into the ground, you're screwing them out. You want the shoulder blades nice and flat. Keep that rib cage down. Good. And I would have her hold that for 20 seconds. So now that she becomes proficient at that, we're going to start. I would take her into a push-up. This is over time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you start in the down position, Claudia. So that's going to be underneath your chest. Now remember, put your hands, about shoulder width apart in push-up position. We want those elbows, like, about 45 degrees. Keep your head in line. Keep a nice strong position from the shoulders all the way down to your ankle. So it's a moving plank. You're going to press away at the ground and come up in a straight line. Good. Keep this up a little bit. Good. All right, bring it down. And up. 2, 3. You don't want to jet that head out.
Yeah.
You want to keep this up a little bit. Put your feet a little bit wider. There we go. Okay. 2 more. Press. 4. 1 more. And good. Okay. So, like I said, to start with, if someone cannot do a push-up, then I would start with a bar, an elevated or a table or a step-up. Gradually work it down. Then we can take them down to the floor. You can do a hold. And then we can move to the push-ups. Now, if the feet are wider apart, that's going to make it a little bit easier, a wider base of support. As you bring them closer together, more narrow, that's going to be a little bit harder. Okay? Yeah. Now, we've talked about a squat, a split squat, a deadlift or hip hinge pattern, a push-up. Now we need a pulling exercise. So this is called a TRX. I love this apparatus. It's hooked on to our rack here. You want to make sure that the clips are in good. And what I always do when I have my clients, let me get something. You're going to grab this, and I always demo this first. All right, so put your feet wide. I have them squat down, grab their hands wide, and walk in and put their feet like this. Now, if I bring my heels like this, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I have them start here. We're going to palms down. We're going to drive the elbows back, pull, and then resist coming back into the starting position. So pull, and then resist. So it's a pulling exercise, so it's for your back. Depending upon your body position will depend upon how much resistance you get. So that's a good place to start. So again, like I said, I always put this back here, just in case you were just
fall down. Okay.
Don't fall down.
Yeah,
Now
no.
keep your hips up. So you want a straight line. Bend your knees slightly like you had them. All right, so now pull. Good. And then come back. Good. Just do 2 like that. Now what I want you to do is dig your heels in. You can walk your feet a little bit further forward. So now you'll notice that you're going to go back a little further. So that's a little bit more difficult, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I like this too, though. Now
Good.
I have to take it out of the box.
Yes, she has one at home. It's a great piece of equipment. Okay, so now you're going to release that. I'm going to make it a little bit longer, and you're more, instead of being vertical, you're more horizontal. All right, walk your feet forward, more. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And you're going to dig your heels in. Keep going, all the way to the red. There we go. And then pull. So this is harder.
Nice.
Good. So you're nice. It's essentially a moving plank. Like the push-up, it's opposite of push-up almost. And give me 2 more. She's really enjoying this one, I can tell. She's going to go home, open that box, and hang that thing somewhere. I don't know where. Okay, and good. So make sure when they get up.
Well, I love being strong.
Yes, and it's really good. You move the pad so they don't trip over it, and that you stand behind them. So that's an example of a pulling exercise. So we went over the squat, the split squat, the hinge, the push-up, and a pull. Now, right there, you have a complete workout. If you did set them up, alternating upper, lower, and did 1 round and 2 rounds of, if your first round is like your first time starting, maybe 5 repetitions of each exercise, and you did 2 rounds, and you did that for a week, every other day, and then the next week, you can move it up, add another round, or add another 3 reps, go to 8 reps, right? Yep. So then you do 2 rounds of 8 reps, and then when you can get up to 3 rounds of 8 reps, then you can increase. You can increase the weight. You know, you can add another exercise. You can add a core exercise in between.
Do you add in reps then too? Like if somebody wants to do 15, is that something that
I usually say between 10 and 12 because you want to also, the objective is to get stronger, so you want to add weight.
Okay.
So if you're doing split squats and you're holding 20 pounds and you can do 15 reps, I'm going to go up to
so
maybe
a little too many if you're trying to add muscle.
Yes, maybe I'd add, if you have weights that go incrementally, 2.5, which is great. Say they go up to, sometimes they go up to 17.5, some dumbbells, but most of them go up to 5 pounds. But for women, sometimes you want that smaller increment. Right. So go from 15 to 7.5.
Right away.
Sometimes you can go, especially it's lower body, you can go to 15s, then go to 20, and that's okay. So you just want to be careful not to overload too much. If you're going to increase the reps, if you're going to increase the weight, then decrease the reps until you're comfortable and you're strong enough. So you want to gradually bring it up. Okay. All right, so what do you think?
Good. I love it.
So we got to work out with a squat, split squat, a hip hinge, a push-up, and a TRX pull. And there you go.
I feel stronger already. I just did a couple reps.
All right. So
well, thanks for watching. Check us out again next Friday. I think we're going to have another Moms on a Mission, and we'll talk about how being healthy and well as we age, especially as women, how important that is for us. I mean, we are carrying a lot of the groceries in and out of the house, although maybe not so much anymore with Amazon.
I did use Amazon. I have to carry them from outside to inside.
Is my point.
Because it empowers us, and it's good for our health. We're worth taking care of. You're worth taking care of yourself. I'm worth taking care of myself. Even though sometimes we may not feel it, but it's really important for us mentally and physically. We have to add these.
And we're the only ones who can really make that change.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because believe me, no one else is.
All right, thanks for watching.
Peace out.
See you